So here is my proof of my audience. Right there. Okay. So to start off, the title of my speech today is called The Perfect Race, and you'll understand why that's the title as I get into my speech a little bit more. Throughout history, mankind has struggled with this idea of perfecting mankind. We have scientists who devote a great percentage of their lives researching, whether it be creating a new invention like computers for cell phones or curing a disease. You know, when we get sick, we go to the doctor and immediately we want to figure out what's wrong with us, what's our imperfection. Um, so about a year ago, I was sitting in my English class and my professor was talking about ethics. She was telling us about what's considered to be acceptable and what's not, and this idea of perfecting mankind came up. And she said that this was not possible. She said this was possible through genetic therapy, and that it would be the answer to curing all future diseases because we could manipulate the genes to create this perfect generation for the future. So, of course, I decided to look at the positives of it and also look at the negatives of it and see, for myself if I thought that this was right or not. The most commonly expressed positive of the gene therapy is that it allows the opportunity to eliminate the possibility of having a child with a disability. Now, this could seem like a lovely thing, and in most cases it probably is, but with this new discovery, there's always the possibility, like everything else, that it can be manipulated. Because the genes could be manipulated to the parent's liking. According to an article that was done by Science, Religion, and Technology Project, one of the options of gene therapy and enhancements um, is that you could essentially make whatever kind of a child it is that you wanted. If you wanted an athletic child, you could make that possible. If you wanted a smart child, you could do that as well. Through this isn't FDA approved yet, so it's not out to the public, but it is something that is highly debated because eventually this could become available. In doing so, in allowing this genetic therapy to be public, some would argue that this would lead society towards the direction of having a utopian society, taking away all the human imperfections and disabilities, thus creating the perfect human being. People would live in peace with each other because there would be no imperfections to ridicule, right? Well, there's a vital issue with this that not many would like to address. Without flaws in society, every person would be the same, thus lacking all individuality. Um, Michael Sandel, he is a recognized scholar of public philosophy, ethics, and civil rights, states in an essay that he wrote about a case against perfection. He says, some say cloning is wrong because it violates the right to autonomy. By choosing a child's genetic makeup in advance, parents deny the child's right to an open future. So, like I stated earlier, how the parents can choose the genetic makeup of their child. This means that the child is being denied its opportunity to grow and learn and succeed on its own in the future. Like I stated earlier, this would create a problem because no person would be unique. No person would be their own individual because we all would be, have this perfect DNA. So our world would do one of two things. Like I addressed earlier in the speech, it is in man's nature to want to be perfect, to strive for this perfection. So we would either not be satisfied, even if we had this perfect gene, we wouldn't be satisfied because we still want to achieve perfection. Or we would lose all motivation to even try and excel anymore. I mean, why would we need to excel? We're already perfect, aren't we? Either way, the society is going to fail, and it's not going to leave us any better off than we started. According to an article that I found on the official site about the human genetic therapy, this isn't going to be a cheap process. In fact, it's only going to be affordable for people who are really wealthy. So, in enhancing a child's genes would leave behind two groups of people: those who can afford it and those who can't. So gene therapy would be kind of like a form of treatment for the rich, making the rich people richer and the poor people poorer. Not only would it further not only would it further diversify the poor from the rich, but it also puts humans in a higher position of power, allowing the human to play the role of being a creator rather than being the created. This can blind a person from seeing the real value of life of an individual. The word individual, according to Webster's dictionary, means a specific person distinct from others in a group. This means that they are unique. In creating a perfect race, humans would lose this idea of individuality, which in time would create a person to lose the sight of individualism. A long time ago in Germany, there lived a man named Adolf Hitler. I'm pretty sure all of you know about him. He's greatly hated by a lot of people because he attempted to eliminate the Jewish race, along with any other imperfect race out there during the Holocaust. And a lot of you know about the Holocaust. It was a horrible thing. He believed that through his actions, he would be able to manipulate the gene pool to produce his idea of this perfect race of human beings. Now, I can't help but draw a parallel between Hitler's actions and the actions of creating genetic therapy. Just like Hitler tried to purify the German race, we would be using a modern and humane way to do the exact same thing that Hitler did, to create this perfect gene, this perfect genetic. Um, so in doing this, once again, like I stated, we would lose sight of the individual based on their individualism, because we would see the value of how perfect a person is according to how society says they're perfect. We would be, we may be gaining more power in the end, but in the end, we still are losing the real value of individuals and the real value of life. So to conclude my speech, science has proved that has provided us with the resource to potentially enhance and perfect our society. Like I pointed out, there are many reasons why this shouldn't be put into action into the public. Does it show you guys? Okay. There we go.